A 7 investigation into lengthy 911 response times has triggered major changes throughout the Detroit Police Department.
Changes that are already being credited with bringing down response times to the most urgent calls for help.
Tonight, investigator Ross Jones shows us how our reports got results.
We're taking the reporting seriously. We're looking at it very carefully.
Even before it aired, our investigation into 911 response times had the attention of Detroit's mayor and police chief. Reports that revealed thousands of the most urgent calls to 911 taking north of 30 minutes to get a response, while hundreds lingered for more than an hour. Other callers struggled to even reach a call taker, and while they waited, their emergencies got worse. Some later died.
We made some very significant changes in management.
Director James Fleming, who headed up Detroit's 911 operation for the last 6 years, has been removed. Chief James Craig de-appointed Fleming, a move that was supported by Assistant Chief James White, who said Fleming didn't meet the standards established by DPD. Brought in to make improvements is Captain Melissa Gardner.
I think one of the things that she brings is just a new set of eyes. Coming into communications and not being really inundated with past practice, bringing new ideas and really coming to the table and saying, how can we be better?
Our reports raised questions about scores of responses to 911 calls, triggering DPD to launch investigations into hundreds of them. Those probes led to discipline for 32 employees.
We identified a number of opportunities to get better.
And some of the biggest changes include new policies already in effect.
Our audit process, our staffing, how we staff, when we staff.
The department is now more aggressively policing itself. Officials noticed that some Priority 2 calls that include assault and battery, threats of suicide, and attacks from the mentally ill sat too long before a car was dispatched. Now, any Priority 2 call that sits on the board for 30 minutes will be automatically flagged. DPD has also started another patrol shift called an overlap car that's meant to prevent calls from falling through the cracks during officer shift change. And they've already made changes so that fewer callers hear this.
All operators are handling emergency calls.
This is the city's automated message that plays when call takers are overwhelmed. As we first revealed, 500 calls each day were essentially being put on hold. Through the first 3 months of this year, more than 6,000 were delayed at least a minute. Nearly 1,000 delayed by more than 2 minutes.
It was telling me, okay, hold on, your call is very important to us.
I'm not okay with being on hold when I call 911.
Until we started asking questions, DPD didn't know how many calls were hearing the voice message every day.
Is 980 calls waiting 2 minutes or more acceptable to you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But as a result of our reporting, they do now, and they're tracking it.
We built a new system based on some of the inquiries that you made, to be candid.
Now that DPD knows when calls stack up the most, they've added more call takers during the busiest hours of the day. In just the last 2 weeks, it's helped bring down the number of calls delayed from 500 a day to 400.
I recognize we have a problem, and they are attempting to address those issues.
Willie Bell is the chair of the Detroit Board of Police Commissioners, which oversees DPD.
It's encouraging that you continue to highlight it and bring it forth. It's encouraging that the department is attempting to seriously address these concerns.
And perhaps the most encouraging is this. Since these changes in policies, staffing, and leadership were made, the department has seen response times fall. In February, it took on average 12 minutes and 45 seconds to respond to the most urgent calls for help. Now, it's fallen by more than 60 seconds.
Sometimes a minute could be the difference in life and death. And our numbers continue to go down and reflect that the work that we're doing is working.
Well, James Fleming was removed from his role as Director of 911 Operations. He is still with Detroit Police in another capacity. And right now, the department is conducting a national search to find his replacement.
Boy, it looks like you're taking action, and they're making changes
because of it.
They
responded, and that's very encouraging because that's why we do these stories. So we'll stay on this. If you have a problem with 911, we still want to hear from you, but some good progress certainly being made here.
And I know you'll continue to watch it.
Indeed.
Ross,
yeah, Ross.